Hey everyone, this is Luke again, and welcome back to yet another Ninjago video onto the channel today. Um, so obviously, April is Autism Awareness Month. I'm sorry that this video took a while to make, but I wanted to do the best I could do for this video, so I didn't want to rush it. But as you know, a lot of fans in the community are on the autism spectrum, just like I am. And I asked a few of these people, what does Ninjago mean to them as an autistic person? So that's what I'm going to be doing here today. I'm going to read over some responses that I asked for people with this question, and I'll hopefully end the video with what Ninjago means to me as an autistic person. So, my first stop is fandom.com because I made a post on this um, back on the 22nd, and whatever day this gets uploaded, um, probably the tomorrow, which would be the 29th. So my post said, to all the autistic slash neurodivergent people here, what does Ninjago mean to you as an autistic or neurodivergent person? I've had this on my mind since I wondered how and why there were so many fans who were on the spectrum or are neurodivergent in general, and I wanted to make a video about this for my channel. Happy Autism Awareness Month. As an autistic person myself, I enjoy Ninjago, and it has become my comfort show. It's great seeing all the ninja characters and villains, except for Dorama. I hate that dude. But Dragon's Rising is good, but not the best. I know I might be rambling on for a bit, but I just love Ninjago. Um, and it's just a regular show to me. I thought Zane was good representation until the robot reveal happened. I'm also not going to reveal who said what out of I'm protecting their identities. As someone who has a mental problem with long-term and short-term memory that was never tested, I like Ninjago because of the characters' personality and that I can relate to some of them. Plus, the characters in this show have much better loving relationships than I've seen elsewhere. Ninjago has been a huge interest and comfort show of mine for a while. I'm highly masking, so Ninjago is a safe space for me where I can de-stress. I project myself onto a lot of characters and have become really connected to them as a Yume shipper, not sure what that is, and a fiction kin. A fiction kin is basically where you identify as the character. It's almost like you can't separate yourself from them. It's a creative vessel for me as a writer, editor, and artist, and I have got a doc with like 30,000 words of my info dumping slash theories and rants, not including my big fan fiction projects and headcanons. I love Ninjago because it's become part of me at this point, and is a world in which the situation is much better than real life. I would elaborate, but I can't find the words. Also, I tend to enjoy media that is more directed to family slash kids. Same here. I don't know if this is relevant, but maybe it has something to do with my love for whimsy and comfort shows versus the darker, more intense shows targeted towards my age group that are just uninteresting and not comforting at all. The characters are usually unrelatable. I think it's because I'm not going to speak for all people on the spectrum, but I think a lot of them feel as if they were still children, kind of stuck in an adult body, if you know what I mean. Like, there's a childhood version of ourselves in our hearts that's still thriving and burning and kicking, and that's what we are. We're basically adult children. Same with me. Hyperfixation, favorite show ever. This show is my fixation. If I ever say that Ninjago sucks, assume that I'm being mind controlled slash possessed. That I was replaced by an evil doppelganger, or that someone was being threatened if I didn't. I don't know if I'm autistic. All I know is probably I have ADHD and a sprinkle of gifted kid, whatever that means. I am in love with the series, haha. Yeah, it's a hyperfixation. Ninjago is one of my hyperfixations, and it's one of my favorite franchises. Ninjago! Love that. Love that little bit at the end. Now let's go on to Discord. Let's see. Ninjago is definitely one of my comfort shows that I come back to every once in a while. Even still, I find it disappointing that they aren't doing great with gay representation, even though I do understand the struggles they have to go through for it to actually happen. Yeah, that's fair. Fair. Very fair. Next person. Ninjago has always been connected to me through my love for Lego. Whenever I think of how I got to love the show, it feels like fate brought me to it, and I couldn't be more happy about that. It gives me a chance to escape from the confusing world for a little bit and relax before coming back to reality. The show also gives me a chance to create things and learn more about story building, even if it isn't the best at it sometimes. Some of the characters I feel so attached to, that it feels like I've known them for my whole life. They are role models and people to look up to and count upon as I navigate life. The last thing it gives me is community. I wouldn't be online if it weren't for wanting a place to info dump about something I heavily enjoy. So yeah, it means a bit of things to me, and it has shaped my life so much these past few years that I can't imagine my life without having Ninjago by my side. As an autistic person, Ninjago means to me is great friendships and following a great show for 15 years, which is over half of my life. Um, and I don't have a few more. I think I have a few more. So let me scroll to Instagram. Um, I think I asked one person. I've always identified with Zane. I'm not sure why. And his voice actor went out of his way to research autism. Yeah, believe it or not, the original idea for this video was going to be what Zane meant to us autistic people. But one, I remember that not every autistic person loves Zane, which is very weird because why wouldn't you like the person that is meant to represent you, if you know what I mean? Seemingly. And also, too, Brent Miller, voice actor of Zane, posted a video on his YouTube channel called "Is Ninjago Zane Autistic?" I will link that video in the description below because it's a really good video of his, and I hope he makes more videos like that in the future. Um, and then the longest response I got is this one, so this may take a while. Ninjago is an amazing series that I'm glad exists. It carries too many themes and meanings to name. The characters' roles in the stories share different meanings. As Dr. Julian said, each of them play a part in the machine, just like all of us. Its representation of mental conditions and struggles mean a lot to me, as they are often handled fairly well. Ninjago is oftentimes careful with its lore. It makes sure things matter, like how the Devourer is behind the villains of Seasons 2, Season 7, and Season 8, while also filling your screen with new entertaining bad guys. Ninjago is also a great example of getting experimental, which is significant because most Hollywood media is deeply afraid of taking risks. Meanwhile, Ninjago takes us from the village to the city to Atlantis to the digital video game world and everywhere you could think of in between. Ninjago signifies the importance of themes in media and how to introduce them into kids' shows. The evolution of the show, aging with its audience, is a revolutionary method of transitioning and staying with the same viewers, keeping up and not treating them like they are still children. Because of this, Ninjago is one of the only pieces of media that hasn't grown stale after almost 20 seasons worth of content in 15 years of running. Dragon's Rising is fantastic too, taking many characters, concepts, and worlds, merging them into one story. Instead of an anthology, it builds up higher and higher like most shows. It's continuous, it's consistent, and its animation is better than ever before. It fixes lore of the original show while respecting it. It adds layers upon layers of facets from worlds combining into one. A creative decision that heightens the character's duties and expands upon the world. It also adds higher stakes than ever. Ninjago is much more to me than just a cartoon kid show. What a wonderful response. And now, to end this video, what does Ninjago mean to me as a person with autism? It's very hard to find these words, but obviously, I'm a day one fan. I've been around since the beginning, but I'm not sure if I've told you the story of how it started. I may have mentioned this on my channel once before, but if I don't remember, I'm sorry. But the story goes something like this: January of 2011. Um, January 8th of 2011 was my first actual class for taking Taekwondo, which is a martial art from South Korea. Um, at first, I was very nervous. I was very nervous about taking this class because I felt like I didn't really belong there. It felt like I was just kind of. It felt like I just. It didn't feel like I belonged there. And I was worried that I wasn't going to really like it or enjoy it, if you know what I mean. But then, but then 6 days later, a show called Ninjago came onto television, and I was bored. So I watched it for the first time, and I became hooked ever since. I watched these four characters, Kai, Jay, Cole, and Zane, take out the Skulkin just like that. Well, not immediately, but but they fought the Skulkin despite all the odds stacking up against them, even forming the first tornado of creation. And 8-year old little me was so amazed by how it looked, by the action being told, by the story, that I knew that it felt special. Because prior to this show existing, my favorite show was SpongeBob. Because I felt SpongeBob really spoke to me as a person, which is kind of funny now considering his voice actor has actually Tom Kenny has basically said that SpongeBob is kind of autistic at this point, so makes perfect sense. Um, and prior to that, it was Blue's Clues, which is like one of the greatest kid shows to ever exist, in my opinion. Um, but I think what made this show very special to me was that it wasn't just one thing, it was a combination of things. The action, the story, the tension, the voice acting, the dialogue, everything me- melded into this perfect storm of a show. And unfortunately, nowadays, kid shows that do this are very, very hard to come by because it seems now that a lot of shows really don't put in the effort that they used to do back in the day. It feels like back then, um, producers, executive producers, directors, and writers actually cared about the stuff they wanted to. Not to say that they don't care now, but it was much more blatantly obvious back when in the 2000s and early 2010s, even going further back into the 90s and even in the 80s. Um and Ninjago is to me was lightning in a bottle. It's something that you can't just recreate. It's one of those things where it burns as bright as it can be. And it's very hard to just make that sort of thing happen again. So back to the story. Um 6 days after my first class, as I mentioned, Ninjago first came out. And I made a promise to myself that I was going to continue to do Taekwondo as long as Ninjago kept airing new episodes because I wanted to be like the ninja so freaking badly because they were so cool. They used spin jitsu, elemental powers. I legitimately thought at the time that I could be just like them using spinjitzu and elemental powers. Who hasn't spun around in a room trying to do spinjitzu? I've done it many times and I was unfortunately disappointed when that never happened. Um and Unfortunately, I did break this promise, but not because Ninjago ended, but because my mental health got in the way of doing martial arts, and I eventually quietly retired in 2018. Originally, I wanted to come back into it once my mental health got better, but COVID happened, and I'm assuming COVID killed the school in which I went to, which was very unfortunate because it closed a chapter in my life that I honestly wanted to come back to, but now I would never get the chance to. But sometimes that's just how life works. Life works that way. Um, as for the current day, um, now I feel like, and um, during this mental health crisis of mine, it was September of it was September 29th, 2018, when I watched a video from Tanner Fishies, who is like the largest Ninjago content creator. I think he still is, and I don't count Generic Stud, because he's more Lego oriented. Um, I saw a video about like I saw a link to his Discord server, and I was so desperate. I was desperate in need to just talk to somebody about how I felt, because I felt like no one could hear my cries for help. And I just created a Discord account, and I was nervous. I was nervous, because I felt like, what if these people, um, were mean to me? You know, what if they couldn't understand me? But I joined, I talked for a little bit, and I made some good friends, some of which are still around, and I still talk to this very day. And if it wasn't for them, I don't know if I would be here, to be honest. Because truthfully, I feel like the power of Ninjago not only gave me new life experiences as a person with autism, but it made me feel much more comfortable with it. It made me feel like I wasn't a freak. I wasn't somebody that to be shunned away from the outside world. It made me feel like I belonged here. I belonged in the same conversation. I belonged in the same room as the person I was talking to. And it made me feel like a human being, a true human being would. And I just don't know if I would be here without these people. Even if some of them don't really want to talk to me anymore, which is fine, which is fine. But and I do miss them. I absolutely do miss them. And sometimes I think about what I could have said differently, what I could have done differently to change their minds and possibly have them back in my life. But I have to keep reminding myself that life goes on. You can't just try to bring the past back, because life goes forward whether when there's someone is in your life or not. That's just how it works. And while it did hurt, I have eventually have moved on from this pain and found new people along with some old friends to really help me sort of get back into the swing of things and get back to the person that I used to be. And hopefully, not only combined that old person with the current person that I am right now. So hopefully that I could build a much better, a and much more understanding world, and a better version of myself. So if it wasn't for any of these people, um, both um, who I sparred with in martial arts and taekwondo, and people who I've talked to about Ninjago, whether it be plot wise, um, or whatever, it, it changed me into it molded me into the person that I am today. And I'm so eternally grateful for that. And I just feel, and for those people old and new that I may never see again or I may never talk to again, um, I just want to say thank you for at least having me be a part of your life. Even if I'm destined to be forgotten in 5 years, 10 years, maybe even sooner than that. Even if I'm destined to be forgotten in their minds, at least I was glad to share a piece of their life with, even if the result wasn't always positive. And um, and this is not even mentioning the character of Zane in particular. Believe it or not, never was initially attached to Zane from the beginning. Um, it was only after his sacrifice in season 3 did I feel something. I felt a profound sense of loss that I never felt prior to that. It almost felt like watching someone that you loved, like, and someone you admire die before you, and there was nothing you could do about it. It was like watching a family member die, and it just felt different. And I think the sacrifice is what made me drawn to this character because he showed that love is the most powerful weapon of all. There is nothing stronger in this world than love. The love for other people, the love for yourself can take you anywhere and can take you any place that you want to. And I'm forever grateful to be taught that lesson by Zane. And ever since then, he is a part of me. He's in my soul. He is part of me. I feel it deep within my heart and my soul. And that's something that I will forever and always be cherished. I will forever and always cherish. And I'm going to um be the best person I could be, just like my hero, Zane. Just like my hero. So if Brent somehow sees this video, I want to say thank you for not just inspiring me, but inspiring a lot of individuals who didn't understand what the world was, who had a unique outlook on the world. It made and makes us feel comfortable knowing that it's okay to feel these things. It's okay to not understand. It's okay to just not be okay, if you will. Um so I am eternally grateful for that. And uh and I'm eternally grateful for Ninjago's existence because it's lasted for 2/3 of my life because I'm 23 right now and I started watching when I was 8. So that's about 2/3 of my life. And I'm gonna cry. Oh Jesus, I'm gonna freaking cry on camera. um it's just it's it's so many words that I just simply can't place here right now. And it's just it means a lot to people like us um who don't feel like they fit in, who don't feel like they belong, who feel like they are just a burden to other people. It made us feel like we are human beings too. And to be honest, and for all that, that's what Ninjago means to me. Ninjago made me a much better human being. It made me feel like a human being for the first time in good Lord knows how long. It made me feel like I deserve to be on this earth and to be the best person that I could ever be. Oh, and I think I nearly forgot one response. Uh, Let me scroll from Instagram. Um, what Ninjago meant to me was compassion, friendship, strength, creativity, and family. It meant so much to me when I was a boy. I was even inspired. I couldn't have said it better myself. Sorry if I feel like I lost my voice for a little bit, but this was a very personal video of mine that I really wanted to do. Um in celebration of Autism Awareness Month, because there's still so much stigmatism surrounding autism, especially in current day with the and with whoever with who's in charge and whatnot. There's still so much undiscovered information about it that's still being discovered to this very day, and it it, it's stuff like Ninjago that makes me hope for a better future for not just me, not just people like us, but for everyone. Every human being on this earth deserves to live a long and healthy and happy life on this earth. And that's where I'll end. So, I want you guys to write what you write this. Even though you this even if you're not autistic or neurodivergent in some way, what does Ninjago mean to you? What does Ninjago mean to you? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel by clicking on the red subscribe button, and clicking on the notification bell to see every video that I will upload. And I'll see all you folks in the next video. Bye bye!